All right. Hello, and welcome to Life Coach Life Talks, where we come together for enlightening conversations on mind setting and um, energy healing. Hold on. There. Mind setting, energy healing, personal growth, soul evolution, and expanding consciousness. So, in our past episodes, my students or the graduates of Empowerment Life Coaching graced us with their presence and divine wisdom. And today is very special because one of my dear classmates in the life coaching world, spiritual teaching world, is joining me. And again, the aim of this webinar is for us to share insights in our personal experiences and to explore, learn, and grow as a collective in this personal enrichment journey. We will once again do some talk therapy and just see what are the messages the universe has for us today, and pick each other's brains, see what divine insights we will get from each other. So come join us, and together let us dive deep into divinely guided discussions with fellow life coaches, light workers, spiritual teachers like myself and like you. Most probably, if you're tuning in or watching this, you are a light worker, you are a spiritual teacher, an energy healing practitioner, perhaps a soulful CEO, a wellness entrepreneur, and of course, life coach, mindset coach. And this is your wonderful opportunity to gain deep insights and elevate your journey. So, our theme for today is remembering who we truly are and finding happiness within. So, hello, Gabrielle. Hello. How are you? How are you feeling today?
Great, Ellie. Thank you so much for inviting me, and of
I
course for
know.
giving. Let
This
me
is
let
so
me
fun.
let me first praise the fact that you introduced mostly, the people who are going to watch and listen to us, because this is all for them. This is all about them,
Yes.
and I love what you said about them being the light workers, being the ones that are empowering themselves to do this work, whether they are just doing it for themselves. And I would actually say that that is the most challenging one, to do it for yourself, or if they decided to, help out other people. So I hope we can get into discussing how this happens and why is it's also happening, because that's a question that we all have in our minds when we're going to this transformative state, which is, why is this happening to me? Why am I so interested in my life has changed completely now into this. So thank you for introducing, people and empowering them this way.
Yes. Oh my goodness. I feel this is such a deep conversation, and there's gonna be maybe a part two. But let's dive right in. You said you're a non-dual mentor and you use the non-dual understanding or philosophy through direct experience to find the happiness we all seek. May I just ask, what is non-duality in your own understanding, and how do you use this philosophy to help people, support people remember who they truly are?
Yeah, that's a beautiful question, actually. So the non-dual understanding is a realization that we all do in our direct experience, in which we see that there is no separation. So you've probably heard, and a lot of people are used to the idea that we live in a unified universe, that is, there is only one being, and also that that being is us. And yet, when we experience reality, we're looking at different people, different planets, different, animals and landscapes and so on. So it seems like our perceptions show us separation, show us distance and, time and all of this. It's all a sort of reality construct in which we're living in separation. So non-duality is an understanding that all of this is simply the manifestation of that one being in many forms, but it is the same being. And the beautiful thing about this teaching is that that one being is you. So if these two things are true, then you are the essence of reality, and you can actually get in touch with that essence of reality. The most probably impactful thing is that everything that we know about spirituality is tied in unequivocally with this understanding. Meaning that, for example, we talk about the law of attraction or manifestation. That is directly related to this. We talk about aligning ourselves, healing our energy centers or our chakras. That's totally related to self-realization. We talk about mystical experiences. We talk about the end of suffering, or balancing our positive and negative, or male and female energies. All of this is related to this one realization. So to me, the most beautiful thing is that we can just do one single practice, one investigation, one realization, which is, who are you? That's the question that starts this investigation, and it leads us to meditation, to the deconstruction of the ego, and of course, what we call healing in general, which takes into account everything that I just said before, and it changes your reality. So, to me, that's why I'm so driven to do this work and to teach it to people and actually show it, because another element around non-duality, which again, non-duality simply means that there's no two. There are
No
no two
separation.
things, no separation.
One indivisible whole. We're all made of one energy, and there's no division, no separation. And our true nature is just really pure consciousness, pure love. There are no
Yes.
boundaries. Yeah, continue.
No, actually, I want to ask you, because I can feel how you receive this. When I
Mhm,
tell you that there is only one being, you say these things, right?
mhm,
How does that
mhm.
feel within you, Aleli?
Yes, it's like it's so liberating to know that it's just an illusion of separation.
Mhm.
There's no separation. And when we realize this truth, there's no boundaries. We're all interconnected. We, when we heal ourselves, we heal the world. It's
Yeah,
so liberating to know that um we're all made of the same energy, of the same soul, and we lose touch of this, especially with the distractions and the challenges of the physical world. There's so much competition, so much jealousy, and we're here to remember that true nature of remembering, and it allows us to, I guess, turn inward, like again with meditations of reflection, to to um quiet quiet the noise of our minds and tune into the wisdom of the soul, which is connected to the wisdom of the universe, to the whole of the universe. Like our intuition, I was reading this book. I was telling you about the book Seat of the
yeah,
Soul by Gary Zukav. It's all about tuning into with the wisdom of the soul, our intuition. It's the language of the soul, which is connected to all the divine. And I guess this is a profound philosophy that if we just embody on a daily basis, nothing can go wrong, right? Because
hmm,
we will always choose love over fear, over competition, over envy.
mm,
We will always um, realize that love unites, instead of choosing competition and separation. Yeah, and also we realize how, since we're part of one same whole, we each have gifts. We have gifts that is like our part in serving the world. And yeah, it's so profound, this philosophy. I feel like if we only focus on oneness and unity and not on separation, honestly, we will be happy and we will feel this sense of purpose and fulfillment every single day. So yeah, I just want to like make it in a way, because I understand the concept, but of course we want our viewers to understand it fully. How you what how non-duality can really help them in their path to joy, in their path to meaning, in their path of making a difference using their divine soul gifts and in embracing who they truly are. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a long answer to your question. But yeah,
Yeah.
those are
Yeah.
my thoughts.
I love
Thank
it.
you, by the way, for saying yes to this random collaboration. I
I
know
love
we've been
random stuff.
connecting.
I
Yeah,
I love
we've been
casual random
connecting.
stuff.
Yes. So just a commercial break to all those who don't know, who maybe are listening and who are with us now. Gabrielle and I met in a CEO accelerator program, and we connected because I think we're the only spiritual teachers. I mean, Amanda is also one of those I connected with, but like the woo woo, the woo woo field.
Yeah.
We're the ones or is there another coach there that's spiritual, or I think you're the only one that I recognize. And
I
yeah, we were talking about racing, abundance exchange, and all of these things. Anyway, I'm gonna ask you about that later on. But yeah, those are my thoughts.
I love it. And there are a couple of things that you said there that I want to emphasize to kind of create a visualization for the viewer and, for yourself. And I like to do it for myself as well. You see, you mentioned a word that I use a lot because that's what the purpose of spirituality, in a sense, is to get in touch with our inner happiness. That's what spirituality is. And it so happens that the source of happiness is ourselves. Literally,
Yes,
we are happiness, we are peace.
yes,
So
yes.
that's why the non-dual teaching is always an investigation through experience. It's not a philosophy that one study. And this is why, although you may find many books, none of the books tell you how to do it, but rather
It's an
talk about,
experience.
yes, they talk about the
Yes.
experience and what what happens there and the things that, they're not. So that's another thing. What is not is what you mentioned as well, which is fear, competition, envy.
Mm,
All these things
mm,
are not consonant with our true being. How do we know it? Well, we don't need to get a philosophy for this. Our heart knows it. We know that whenever we feel envy, hatred, jealousy, and all these emotions, what they're actually doing is compressing us and it makes us ill inside. So
yeah.
the question is, why are we living with so many of these emotions ourselves? And the reason is because we have been unaware or unconscious of our true being. So whenever we see somebody being unconscious or acting in a what we call a wrong way, it's not really their fault. It's just that they're not aware of a higher
Yeah.
being, a higher self within them. And so why do we do this investigation? Because it's a sure way for us to go into direct experience to know that what we
Yeah.
are is really this. And that's why we enter the state of meditation. So in essence,
Yes.
non-duality, if I can put it to you, especially in the way that I work it, is that it is an understanding that we can grab anybody, literally anybody who is at least interested enough to follow the investigation so they could realize through direct experience what we're talking about to taste that peace, that happiness, that joy, that love that is within us. And that's what you want to use, like you said, and that's the last part that I capture from your answer is that you, once you taste this is what you want to be. This is what you want to expand. So
Yes.
the work, the spiritual work of what we call an adept, somebody who is in this expansion, in this committed to this path, is to continuously work and expand this realization outwardly, within the self always, but outwardly, always outwardly.
Yes. And actually, non-duality is so non-duality means no separation, meaning one being part of the oneness, coming back to who you truly are, coming back to your natural essence, which is pure love. And so ultimately remembering who we are, it's a journey of peeling back, the layers of the conditioning. As you've mentioned, it's not the
Yeah,
person's fault, right?
right.
These are negative conditioning, cultural, programming. Um, and it's a process of letting go of all these implants of separation, of illusion, of division, letting go of who we thought we are based on these programming, based on these illusions, letting go of who we thought we're supposed to be, and embracing who we truly are by peeling back the layers. And again, that spirituality to really reveal, your inner being, your essence that has always been there. And I remember Rumi's quote that says, "Your task is not to seek for love, but merely to seek and find all the barriers within
Yeah.
yourself that
Oh,
you have
it's
built
beautiful.
against it." And
Yes.
yeah, and
So
that's what
beautiful.
I know. It's so beautiful, right? So I guess that's what you're telling also, right? You're just finding all the barriers and separation and just come back to to who you truly are and process that. Why do you have those barriers within yourself? Then you have
Yeah.
built all these against what, right? So oh my
Yeah.
gosh, I'm so happy whenever I go into deep philosophical thoughts like this. And
Yeah.
thank you for sharing your thoughts.
Yes.
Just want to ask you maybe what is the greatest advice that you can give to someone, struggling right now or like contemplating about life right now? I know you're all into also going back or following your soul purpose, and I
Yeah.
know that you have underwent experience a lot of shifts in your life also. I know part of your story, right? You were a pharmacist and then now you're doing your soul purpose. You're doing things that you love every day, like myself. Yeah, what maybe is a value, some insight, advice, value that you can give to someone right now listening, um,
Yeah.
someone
Sure.
struggling right now. Yeah.
So I I feel the need to cover all the spectrum of how people can seek for help or an advice. The first thing that I would say to anybody is that, especially when considering life choices and who may feel really separated in a depressed state or anxious state, to reach out for help. Don't think
Yeah.
that this is happening just to you. Um,
Yes.
don't feel like this is, some madness that has overtaken you because society it's still not reflective of this understanding. We still live in a very old, obsolete society. So to anybody who feels in despair or that feels that something is wrong with them, just reach out to people like us or anybody else. There's so many people out there who are talking about this, and we're all willing to help to a certain degree with our content, with our messages, with what we say. So if this message resonates with you, then just don't feel out of the loop. Don't feel disconnected. Don't think that we are, disconnected from this. We're reaching out to help people. And, even if it's just one message or one comment, that can make a whole difference. And then, for the people who are already in this path and kind of know what's going on, and even for the people who are approaching this for the first time, I say that my teaching is really for anybody. You don't have to have a specific background or some religious affiliation or be into Buddhism. I mean, you just mentioned Rumi,
Yes.
who was a poet. He was a non-dual
Yes.
poet. He
No
was,
religion. No specific. Yeah.
yeah, because when we are in this path, we kind of we respect and worship all religions. We see them for what they
Yeah.
are. They are an expression of this understanding. So it's
Yeah.
not one specific thing. And you know, this understanding is open for anybody. And I call it my teaching only because that's what I do, but it's the teaching. It's a general global teaching for everybody. And the only thing that I would say as an advice is to focus on yourself. First, see all that separation, all those things that we see outside. We need to first see them inside because that's where we're projecting it. So when you mention it, I think it's beautiful that we are the ones generating this. We're the ones that have all these blockages and all these feelings of separation. We first need to work them inside ourselves. Once we do, there's nothing to do outside, but just simply see the reflection of that product of your work and yourself. So that's my advice. It's simple. It's
Yes.
meditation, responsibility, taking accountability for everything, coming out of the victimhood mentality. And there are so many things that,
Gosh.
we need to kind of condense here, but
Yeah.
that's in a nutshell what I would say.
I was gonna say that too, and maybe we'll expand on those another day, meditation, self-inquiry, the loss of the universe, like us within, so without it, everything is just a mirror. Really change yourself on the inside first. Stop, acting like a victim and trying to
Yeah.
change the external circumstances, because it will naturally, inevitably follow, right? I was like contemplating about this because of course I do so many courses, and I was just like going through the four levels of consciousness, from victim to um manifester to through me consciousness, which is your channel, and then being consciousness, where you're really in your highest level of consciousness as your God state. So, from being a victim to
Yeah.
being. And
Beautiful.
yeah, it would take another day or more to discuss about that. But yeah, I really appreciate your insights, and um I would love to, hear from you more, your personal stories, your words of wisdom. I really appreciate you showing up and for sharing your insights and divine wisdom. Um, and nothing's a coincidence. So we connected in that
Yeah.
class for a reason, and this is just the beginning. So, do you have any other maybe eye-opening inputs before we finish this mini webinar? Or maybe would you like to invite them to events
Yeah.
or
No,
where they can find you? Mhm.
I'll just add that there's a reason why we are in this path all together.
Yeah.
And there is only one direction, and that direction is peace and harmony. That
Yes.
everything that we look for, happiness is the realization that you are peace. Love is the realization that what you are is essentially everything else. So you can only have a relationship. Your relationship with everything else, once you know who you are, is love. So it's not something that you have to do. This is something that took me a couple of years to realize and understand
Yes, not
that
something
love
that you
is
have to,
natural.
it's something you have to be, right? I,
Yeah.
I also took a long time understanding this. And until now, of course, I would still have so many triggers about this. But I know that you've been doing a lot of inner work. And yeah, I
Yeah.
think that's what we're trying to impart to them, which is really good because we're empowering them to really assess and have a date with your inner being, and figure out what are these barriers that I'm setting in myself? What are these limitations? Because if you just realize how everything is one, you're one with the present moment, you're one with your breath, you're one with the universe, you're the power of the sun, you're the power of the moon, you're the power of life itself. you're
Mm.
you're the power of your friend, your classmate, your sister, your you'll just be so expansive, and yeah, you'll realize that everything is all the illusions that are happening are just created by sadly by the modern world. And okay, that's my last question before we end. How can you reconcile that? Because we already know that everything's one, but we also know that in this modern times, you
Yeah,
know, there are barriers, there are illusions, there are separations, there are hierarchies. Yeah, how do
sure.
you reconcile that? Mhm.
Yeah, so I think um, there's a two sides to this question. Um,
Yeah.
and the first one is to, yes, acknowledge that we do live in a society that has been created and also reinforced over time by the
Yes.
illusion of separation. In essence,
Yes.
we
Yes.
live in a interconnectivity because we're still
Yes.
interconnected, but we
Yes.
live in relationship with each other that is based
Mm.
on a model and understanding of separation. But you see, the thing is that our world is not constructed from the outside in. You see, if this were true, then we would have no uh, no possibility of change because the world is creating us. You see what I mean? So we first
Mm.
need to realize that although it seems like the world is creating us, what's happening is that our world's relationships with
Mm.
between governments, between people, between institutions and everything is based on a false understanding, which is separation. And so this is not what's creating us, is what we perceive outside, because we have
Mm.
also been conditioned that this is the truth. We live in accordance to that system, and that's why we call this the matrix, right? But we
Yes, the
come out
matrix.
of the matrix by realizing first that I am the one creating and buying all of this. So if I reverse this to say, I'm the one who is in control of my relationship, and again, where do we go? Inner work. Because, like I said,
Yes, inner.
inner work,
Ah! Yes, inner work is basically unplugging yourself from the matrix.
yes, because
Over
what
and over
happens
again.
is that you realize directly through your own exploration of yourself that that separation is perceptual, is illusory, and thus
Mm.
what reveals then is the true connection with everything in relationship, which is what we experience as love or understanding. You see, these are the two things that are important in our human life. We don't need to understand things scientifically or even metaphysically. All we need to understand
Yes.
is that we are part of one whole system. And we can only know that not through concepts and books and documentaries and hours of seminars and so on, but through inner work. Just you have to realize
Yeah.
it within. So that's how we break free from this system. We break free. And the last thing that I'll say is that a lot of people are looking for to manifest their own reality and to bring
Mm.
out their purpose. It so
Mm.
happens that when you get in touch with this essence that you are, all the conditioned mind starts deconstructing. And so what you're
Mm.
left is with a clear or a clarity, clear view or clarity of the world, which allows you to do spontaneously what you want to do. And that really changes the whole dynamic of your relationship with the world. And that's how you empower the way in which you are helping others, in which you're being of service to the world.
Oh my goodness. Yes. Wow, there's so many golden nuggets of wisdom there. Mostly about, really about inner work and unplugging yourself from the matrix. And if only everyone can understand, if only, we can unite, but again, one soul healing himself is contributing to the healing of the world. So
Right.
even just one soul. So thank you so much for your time and precious divine energies. Thank you
Sure.
for being here, and thank you to all those who are here live, watching live, and really connecting with us on a regular basis. Thank you also to those who will be watching on replay, and um, I'm really I think what we want to impart here as a last note is we all we'll come back to inner work and embodiment and doing the practices more than theoretical philosophies and applications.
Yes.
Yeah, we have that responsibility. Thank you. I'm excited for what will emerge for you and for us as a collective, as one, as we journey through this process together. And it's very, very healing to talk with you, to connect with you, Gabrielle. And I'm grateful that, our conversations just flow. And, when we send voice messages, it's just like I I'm just blessed. Like I'm blessed to have you as my classmate, as my brother. I call you my spiritual brother, and I'm
Thank
really
you.
grateful that I met you in the CEO program. And
Likewise.
yeah, thank you
Thank
so
you.
much for joining
Thank you,
us.
Lily.
And
I feel the same way.
yay! And happy Easter. Actually, it's Easter, so I know that you respect and appreciate all kinds of religion. Tomorrow is Easter, and so it's a time of renewal. It's always a time of renewal and rebirth and new beginnings. So
Yeah,
yeah, thank you so much. Let's take a picture before we end.
let's do it.
Wait. Hold on. Oops. One, two, three, smart. Thank you, Gabrielle. Have a good night or good morning,
Good
good
day for me.
afternoon. Yeah, good
Afternoon
day
for sure.
in the US. Thank